Hare Krishna. So, welcome to the channel Hare Krishna World. So, today we have a very special guest, His Grace Achuta Gopal Prabhu, a senior monk and initiated by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj and President of SCON Achuta in Goa. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Anitai.
How are you, Prabhu?
I'm very good. Very happy to be with you.
Yes, we are also happy having you here. So, can you speak some three lines of introducing you?
My name is Achuta Gopal Das.
Yes.
I'm initiated disciple of Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and I've been trying to serve this Krishna conscious movement for almost 20-25 years, trying my best to do whatever little services I can in the mode of the servant of the servant, trying to spread this mission of Srila Prabhupada around Goa.
So, Prabhu, let's start our podcast questions. So, the first question what I would ask that what inspired you to join Krishna consciousness?
What inspired me to join Krishna consciousness was the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, definitely. Because as a young student, when Krishna conscious philosophy was presented in a very systematic, very scientific way,
Yes.
and when the whole thing made sense to me, for me it was just I had to follow it. And because I knew it was such an important philosophy which could give direction to so many people, and because it helped me personally, I felt that it's my duty also to share this message with others.
Yes.
So that inspired me to take up to this life of full-time, serving this mission.
And how did you come in touch with Krishna consciousness?
I came in touch with Krishna consciousness because of my father. When I was in my school days, my father got connected first to Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
And initially it was because he told us we would do. But slowly, once I started to understand the philosophy myself when I was in my 11th standard like that,
Yes.
then, it came from my own end that this is what I wanted to do lifelong.
So, Prabhu, next question what I am to ask that what simple daily spiritual habit one should teach to the child in their habits? What they can do, one activity.
One daily activity,
Yes.
chant Hare Krishna. This is the best activity. So there's a beautiful verse in Keval Ashtakam which says, Sa Guru Sa Pita Chapi Sa Bhanda Matavo Hi Sa Shikshayet Che Sada Smartum Harir Namaiva Kevalam. So it says it is the duty of every father, mother, guru, duty of all these people to tell their children Shikshayet Che Sada Smartum Harir Namaiva Kevalam, to inspire the children to chant Hare Krishna. So I think this one activity, if the child starts to do right from the childhood, chanting Hare Krishna, then everything else will make sense.
So then how, if someone is not interested in Krishna consciousness, how he can or she can develop taste in it?
So if someone is not interested in Krishna consciousness, they can develop taste in it by coming in association of devotees. So no one, all of us as conditioned souls, no one is actually that interested in Krishna consciousness in the first go. That interest has to be created slowly.
Yes, bro.
And that happens in the association of devotees. So therefore the scriptures say, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Kahe, Lavamatra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoye. If we associate with devotees, even if you don't have that interest will come.
Yes.
Bhagavatam first canto, there is this example of Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was a typical materialistic person who was absolutely not interested in Krishna consciousness. And Dhritarashtra had no good qualities to become a devotee. But the only good quality that he had was, he had a brother like Vidura, who was a devotee of Krishna.
Yes.
And because of Vidura's association, Dhritarashtra also became a little Krishna conscious. So I think if people come in association of devotees, slowly that interest will come.
So, Prabhu, you have explained very nicely that by coming in association we can develop taste for Krishna consciousness. So, how can parents introduce their children to be reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or associating with devotees? Because if parents are not in association, so how they can introduce their child to Krishna
Correct,
consciousness?
yes. So in your question only the answer is there, that there is no shortcut to parenting.
Yes.
So the only way parents can give Krishna consciousness to the children is when the parents follow it themselves. The example of Srila Prabhupada's father. Srila Prabhupada, from his childhood, he saw his father worshipping Radha Krishna deities, reading Gita, reading Bhagavatam, reading Chaitanya Charitamrit, serving Vaishnavas. So Srila Prabhupada, at a young age, he got these impressions of his father, who was very, very Krishna conscious. So those impressions helped inspire Srila Prabhupada to follow that path. Lord Krishna, in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, when Lord Krishna meets Sudama,
Yes, sir.
Lord Krishna tells Sudama that for everyone, one's natural guru is one's father.
Yes.
For Srila Prabhupada, it was like that. So therefore, if anyone wants their child to be Krishna conscious like Prahlad, it is very important that the parents are also very Krishna conscious. Then only it can happen. That legacy will get passed on like that.
So, Prabhu, third question, we can ask that what is the most effective way to teach children values in digital world?
How can you teach values to children? By teaching them stories. Children love a lot of stories.
Yes.
So by explaining the children, inspiring them through all the stories of Ramayana, Mahabharata, the personalities of Ramayana, Mahabharata, characters like Hanumanji, Arjuna, Bhima,
Yes.
all these personalities. Children are looking for heroes. The problem is the heroes in this world, they don't have any character as such. But the heroes in Vedic scriptures, they are very powerful. They did a lot of great work also, but simultaneously they had a great character. So when the children are made to understand that their heroes are not the Khans of this world, but their heroes are Hanumanji, Arjuna, and all these personalities, Jatayu and all these personalities. So then children will want to become like them. So therefore, hearing about these great souls and making the children understand that these are the heroes that we have to aspire for is very important. So I feel stories of these personalities is something that's very important that children are taught right from the beginning.
So, Prabhu, next question is why chant only Krishna's name? Why do not chant demigods' names such as Hanumanji, then Hanuman Chalisa? Why we are only chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra?
Because everyone chants Hare Krishna. Shivji also is chanting Hare Krishna. Parvati is asking Lord Shiva. You have seen a picture of Shiva. Shiva is like eyes closed, meditating.
Yes, Prabhu.
So Parvati is asking Shiva what names you chant. And Lord Shiva says Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. So Shivji says, I am chanting the names of Ram. Ganesha, he is chanting. Indra is chanting. Everyone is chanting the names of Lord Ram. There is a Upanishad called Kali Santaran Upanishad, where Narad Muni goes to Brahmaji. Brahmaji is also a demigod.
Yes.
He goes to Brahmaji and is asking him what should the people of Kali Yuga do, what names they should chant. And Brahmaji explains this Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yes.
So therefore, all the demigods, everyone chants Hare Krishna. Hanumanji chants Hare Krishna. He chants the name of Ram. So therefore, we chant Hare Krishna.
What is the significance of Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Can you tell in some short summary?
Significance of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Srila Prabhupada explained in a very simple way. It is like a child crying out for a mother. Just like a child cries out to a mother. Because the child is very helpless. A small child, a small baby, what can the child do? The child even can't get up, it can't even turn itself, it can't drink milk, it can't eat, it can't do anything without the help of a mother and father. Similarly, in this world, we are all very helpless. We may think that we are very great and very powerful. That's all illusion. Lord Krishna tells in the Gita, Prakate kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. An arrogant person is actually a fool who thinks that he is very great. But anyone who is intelligent, he'll understand that we are very helpless in this world. We are very small.
Yes.
So just like a child can't do anything other than cry, so being very helpless, we can't do anything other than cry out to Krishna. And how do we cry out to Krishna? In the form of this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this is a cry to Radha Krishna. Hare refers to Srimati Radharani. Krishna, Ram refers to that Supreme Lord. So we are crying out to our eternal Father and Mother, please help us. Please engage us in your service. So that's the whole meaning of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, how Srila Prabhupada explained to all of us.
So Prabhu, next question is, how can today's youth develop true focus in an age of constant social media distraction?
Yeah, very important question. Today's age is called an age of mass distraction. There are weapons of mass destruction also, but more dangerous than that is weapons of mass distraction.
Yes.
There's too much distraction out there. When growing up as youngsters in our age, we didn't have mobile at all. So nowadays, it's a big challenge, with all the social media and YouTube and all this.
Yes, sir.
So the only way the youth can remain focused is by having a very strong and very powerful goal in life. If you don't have a very strong goal, you'll get distracted. So there is a saying in English, obstacles are those things that you see when you lose sight of your goal. That means when you no longer see your goal, you're going to see all different kinds of distractions and obstacles. But if the goal is very clear, then distractions may be there, but you will not get affected so much. Just like simple, when a child gets into college, if his goal is very clear that I want to top this college,
Yes.
I want to come out very successful because I want to earn well, then college atmosphere has a lot of distractions. But if he's that focused, if his goal is very clear, then even though there'll be so many distractions, temptations, he'll not be tempted, he'll not stray away from his path. But if the goal is not clear, then every small thing will keep diverting you.
Yes.
So I think the youth need a very strong purpose in life. And that's what the Gita tells everyone. What is the greater purpose in life? Once you understand that, then you'll be able to maneuver through all the distractions.
So Prabhu, how can young people handle peer pressure while trying to follow spiritual path, spiritual consciousness?
Yeah. So this is also a very relevant question. As soon as a youngster comes into Krishna consciousness, there's a lot of pressure from friends that come in, because you will, at some point, they will tell you either you give up Krishna consciousness or give up their association. So, it's a test of faith at these points, So we have to understand that if your friends are your real friends, then they will support you even in your spiritual life. And if they are not supporting you, probably they are not your best friends at all.
Yes.
So then in time, you'll find your best friends. So to achieve something great in life, especially to achieve Krishna, to achieve something in spiritual life, one has to make some sacrifices. And many times the sacrifices are these sacrifices. You will have to lose some relationship so that you can gain a better relationship with Krishna and the devotees.
So Prabhu, one more question is that, what is the spiritual remedy for the growing of loneliness and mental health challenges focused by today's youth?
Yeah. So today's century is a century where the biggest disease is mental disease, and it's on the rise. And loneliness, as you said, it's a big problem. Children staying at family, staying with friends. In today's day of social media, where someone may have hundreds and thousands of Facebook friends or Insta friends or whatever, following and everything, but still everyone is lonely. Because, in today's time, we are trying to connect to, what's the reason of loneliness? Because we are trying to connect to the world, but we are disconnected from our own selves.
Yes.
People don't know who they are. So therefore, it's very important that we connect to our own selves. We connect with that Supreme Lord Krishna within our hearts. Once that connection is there very strong, then even though you may be alone, you will not be lonely. These are two different things. Someone may be alone, but not necessarily that they are lonely. And someone may be with people, but they may still be lonely. So loneliness doesn't mean that, whether you're in a company or whether you're alone. A lonely person is one who is not connected with himself and with God. So therefore, it's very important that we accept the process of Krishna consciousness with a lot of seriousness. Path of spiritual life is no longer a luxury. It's not that, if I feel like I will do it. It's a necessity now.
Yes.
If you don't do it, then these are the things that are going to hit people very bad. And we see in today's world that, even in like very successful colleges, very intelligent children, they're committing suicide and doing all these things because I feel, they are missing that connection with themselves, with the Atma and the Paramatma. And that's what the Gita introduces us to. Gita speaks about 5 important topics, and out of the 5 topics, 2 important topics that Gita speaks about is Atma and Paramatma. And in today's world, people don't know either of it. They don't know the concept of soul, they don't know the concept of super soul. So definitely loneliness is going to come.
So Prabhu, what is the most effective way to teach children moral values and social etiquettes while taking teachings of Bhagavad Gita and scriptures?
How to teach moral values and social etiquettes through teaching Gita? Yeah, so basically, as I told you, moral values by specifically introducing stories with lessons through which children can learn certain values, right? And so many of the stories. So it's important that children are just not taught the story, they are taught to see that small hidden lessons in those stories. How Arjuna behaved in a certain situation, how Hanumanji behaved in a certain situation. Understanding all these intricacies, they will understand values also, and they'll understand etiquette, sadachar also. And both these things go together. If you have values, then naturally there'll be etiquette, there'll be respect, there'll be humility, there'll be all these things.
Yes.
So I think it goes hand in hand, and the way you do it is you have to mix stories with the teachings and principles. Both have to go together, because especially to attract and to keep the mind of a youngster attracted to spiritual life, as you already mentioned, there are too many distractions.
Yes.
That spiritual life that we are presenting, the Krishna conscious philosophy that we are presenting, has to be very appealing to them. And the way you can make it appealing is adding stories and explaining the lesson out of it. When both go hand in hand, children are able to connect and they will understand it themselves.
So Prabhu, one more question. How can parents gently discipline their children without harming their self-esteem?
Wow. How can parents discipline children without harming their self-esteem? Disciplining children when the children are very small, then you have to just give them love and care. At a certain point, you have to discipline them a little. But after a few years, especially when the child reaches teenage, you have to just start to treat them like friends. That's how Chanakya explained about how one should deal with children in their growing phase. But I feel more than rules and regulations is explaining the children why they have to do what they are supposed to do. That kind of education is needed. Otherwise, you must shout at a child that why did you do this, why did you do that, why you're not keeping your room clean. You can keep yelling and keep doing rules and regulations, which may just strain the relationship between parents and the child. And once the relation is strained, it's very difficult. The child will get into a wrong path because he doesn't have that kind of relationship with parents. The trust is no longer there. So I think what is more needed is the kind of proper systematic education, in the sense that explaining the child what are the benefits of keeping room clean, keeping your clothes clean, being on time. So these things, I think the children need to be taught properly, the benefits of it. And if they are taught properly, then they will automatically want to be disciplined themselves.
Yes.
I think that's a better way than always using a stick and trying to discipline. It doesn't work, especially with the children in today's generation. It doesn't work. You have to teach them nicely, and you have to teach them systematically, scientifically, properly why they have to do what they are supposed to do.
So, as a leader, as a spiritual leader, how do you personally maintain inner peace and emotional balance while managing large communities and complex projects?
Yes, thank you for that question. Yeah, managing a family is difficult. Speaking about disciplining children, managing a family is that itself is like a big task. Managing a group of people, congregation is not easy. It comes with its own challenges, because everyone's mindsets are different, everyone's thought process is different. So we are all in the learning phase only, but it's very important that we try to take everyone together, and as a leader, as someone who's leading a project or a community, I think most important is to stay grounded also. Stay humble, because as soon as there is some arrogance that comes in, then people don't like it. People like leaders who are more humble, more honest in whatever their position is. So for someone to be a leader, it's not so important that someone has to be like a perfect leader, but what is important is someone is sincere, honest, and he's trying his best. So if you do that, I think Krishna supports. Lord Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita, Tesham satata yukthanam bhajatam priti purvakam tadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. So Lord Krishna says that if you're sincere in your endeavor, Lord Krishna gives that right intelligence. So Srila Prabhupada started this movement in that same mode. Prabhupada told young people that you'll go and start a new project in a new country, and Prabhupada gave them a guideline. You follow certain principles, be sincere in your practices, and if you do that, Krishna will give you that kind of intelligence how to take things ahead. But I think what is the most important is the mood of servant of the servant of the servant. That's what is most important. Das, das, anudas. So the more, if you're having some leadership position, the only reason we are having that is because we have more access to serve more people. It's not a facility to enjoy. It's not a post to enjoy. It's just an opportunity to do more service to more number of devotees. So if that mood of service is very proper, then as you speaking about peace, then even if criticism comes or appreciation comes, whatever comes, you're not affected by either, because you are grounded. Your sense of nourishment is not coming from someone's appreciation. Your sense of nourishment is coming from the opportunity to serve. So when you derive it from there, so it really doesn't matter to you whether people criticize you or people appreciate you. You are grounded. I think that servant leadership, that mood is most important.
So the next question is that the modern generation faces unprecedented levels of anxiety and loneliness despite of being hyper connected online. So what is the Vedic understanding of the root cause of this inner violence, and what is the remedy?
Yeah, so we touched upon this a little before, that in today's time there is a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of loneliness, there's a lot of stress, because it's a too artificial life that we are living. Previous to social media, a child would compare with another child in the same class, but in today's social media time, a child can compare with millions of child out there. So the pressure is too much. It's quite an artificial pressure that we are mounting, right? And I mean, even in terms of every parent wanting the child to be an IITN or an MBBS doctor, even in terms of academics, there is so much pressure. So I think, somewhere things are getting too artificial and we are moving away from a natural life. So Srila Prabhupada always wanted, Prabhupada's formula was simple living, high thinking. That means, we have more time to think about higher questions and higher principles, higher aspects of life. That's what life is basically meant for. So I think that's the root cause of the stress today. Is because it's quite an artificial life, very materialistic life. So just like a fish, a fish needs water to survive. You remove the fish out of water, it's going to be very anxiety driven. So similarly, in today's world, people are out of their natural position, and the natural position of the soul is to be Krishna conscious, to be connected to spirituality. So because people are out of it, there is a lot of anxiety there, even though people are materially successful. So the solution is getting connected back to our roots, to our original nature. And our original nature is on that level of the soul, being in connection with Krishna. And as soon as you experience that connection in simple aspects of bhakti, maybe it may be an offering a flower to Krishna, offering a small prayer to Krishna, serving Krishna, some small services, you've experienced a lot of bliss.
Yes.
And you immediately understand the difference. You'll understand a lot of difference, that small aspects of spiritual life can give us more bliss than big successes in material life. So as soon as you understand the difference, you will understand, what the problem is, and you'll understand where the solution is.
Yes. So Prabhu, in a world driven by material knowledge and that, how can a modern leader practice detachment and doing leadership while not stressing the people and not giving stress? How it can manage by doing some aspects of the tradition?
Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada had this formula of Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Yes.
So when you, as a leader, when you're constantly in touch with Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, the philosophy, then you're not carried away by all the other, glorification or all the other facilities that come with being a leader. You're not carried away by all that. So therefore, regularly, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya means we have to keep regularly hearing about what's the purpose of life, why am I a leader, why do I have this position. Once you're very clear of that, then you're able to deal with everything properly. Because the nature of the mind is, the mind drifts to material consciousness very, very soon. It drifts like that. So therefore, regularly being in touch with Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, which reminds us of the temporary natures of this world, which reminds us what our eternal position is. Jivera Swarupoi Krishtera Nityadas. We are servants of Krishna. Hearing lectures from sadhus, great souls, it's very important so that we are reminded of why we are doing what we are doing, as I mentioned to you. And once you know that, then you do your services. Part of your question was how we not put stress on others.
Yes.
Yeah, that's also an important part. As leaders, we have to push, right? Srila Prabhupada was pushed by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada pushed his disciples also. Prabhupada said in one sense that we are a pushing movement. We have to keep pushing also. The responsibility of the leader is to see that devotees come out of their comfort zone. So that pushing is there. But simultaneously, we have to know that we can't push people too much also.
Yes.
So, you have to do it in a very balanced way. And I think that comes with time and it comes with maturity. And it also comes with guidance, right? So it may be that the leader is going overboard this way, that way. But if the leader has someone else who is above him and who's guiding him, then he'll come back to track slowly.
So Prabhu, how do we distinguish between our material ego, ahankar, and our true spiritual identity when making important life decisions?
Yeah, very important. This material ego is so subtle. We have this Panch Mahabhut. How subtle ego is, I'll tell you. We have Panch Mahabhut, right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether.
Yeah.
The most grossest is earth. More subtle than earth is water.
Okay.
More subtle than water is fire. Then air. Then ether. Ether is air, at least you can feel. Ether you can't even feel. More subtle than ether is mind. More subtle than mind is intelligence. And more subtle than intelligence is ego. That means you don't even understand that the ego is functioning. Just like now, many times we see Hindi movies, na?
Yes.
So sometimes someone goes and murders someone, but there is some don sitting at the back who no one even knows that he is the one who is organizing the whole thing. So sometimes we blame the mind, the mind is the culprit, but actually the one who's pushing the mind is the ego.
Yes.
So ego is a very big culprit, and most of the times we can never understand also the ego is there. It's so subtle, it's so clever, basically, the ego. So therefore, the first principle is to become aware that it's the ego working. Most of the times we are not even aware. And how do we become aware? When we sincerely chant Hare Krishna, when we sincerely hear the holy names of Krishna, when we read books, Srila Prabhupada books, when we just not read them, we study them very attentively. And after studying them, we close the book and contemplate, what did I read? What is the message for me? And also when we pray sincerely to Krishna, Krishna, please help me see my ego, overcome my ego. So I think these three things, chanting, reading, praying, associating with devotees in a very humble mood. So when we have this kind of mood, then Krishna first gives us that awareness that, see, this is your ego. You have to be careful.
Yes.
And once you become aware of it, then you can move away from it and then come to that level of that true ego that I'm a servant of Krishna. So it's not as easy as it sounds to be. It's actually a very tricky game. It's a very tricky game. And only those who are highly blessed by Krishna and by the sadhus, by the guru, they can actually identify the ego, move away from the ego and act on the platform of the true soul. And when someone does that, such a person truly becomes very, very attractive to the world.
Yes.
Like Srila Prabhupada was, because Srila Prabhupada was acting from the platform of true ego as a spirit soul. So I think it's a journey for all of us, and it takes time for a sadhaka to understand, what is the blockage, to understand and realize the ego. So therefore, I think alertness is very important in spiritual life. We don't practice chanting, reading, hearing only mechanically, but we try to put our heart, our soul into it. And when we do that, then Krishna gives us that awareness of the ego and we can go beyond it.
Yes. So, as Prabhupada says, that we should be very humble than a straw, like a straw. So, while having a leader of some society, how manage that we should can order also. So how manage that while humble and ordering someone? So
Yeah.
How to manage that?
Yeah. I'm just remembering a beautiful incident in Ramayana.
Yes.
When Hanumanji goes to meet Mother Sita, Hanumanji assumes a very small form, a form like a cat. And Hanumanji goes to Ashok Vatika. And when he comes in front of Mother Sita, he tells Mother Sita, my dear mother, what are you doing here? You sit on my back, I will take you back to Lord Ram. Why are you suffering like this? So Sita looks at Hanumanji and says, Hanuman, you're so small, how will you take me? So Hanumanji suddenly becomes very, very huge. So that time Sita Maiya is asking Hanumanji, what is your actual size? Are you small? Are you big? So Hanumanji says, actually I'm very, very small. But in the service of Lord Ram, I can take any form as I want. I can become as big as I want. So this is the mood of a true leader. In his heart, he is convinced that he is most insignificant. Hanumanji tells Mother Sita that who sent us a messenger, someone who is very insignificant, useless, you tell him, Baba, go and give this message and come.
Yes.
So Hanumanji is convinced that he is the most insignificant monkey. But this is Hanumanji's humility. But humility also doesn't mean that you're not ready to take big responsibilities. Hanumanji was ready to do that also, but in the mood of being a servant. So, how do we remain humble at the same time? We may have to give some orders to someone, or we may have to give some instruction to someone. How do we maintain that mood? So, therefore, that, as I told you, our sadhana comes into play very much.
Yes.
So, these are in terms of services. In terms of seva, you may have to take a responsibility of being a leader or whatever. But if your sadhana is very good, if you have done your chanting very nicely, if you have done your reading, hearing very nicely, so this sadhana helps us remain very, very grounded. It makes us realize that we are very insignificant. And then after that, whatever big responsibilities and accolades and whatever post comes in your life, you carry it in the mood of a servant.
Yes.
It doesn't enter your head at all. Right? Just like now, a lotus leaf has a wax coating.
Yes.
Right? Any drop of water just slips away. So similarly, what is the wax coating for all of us to remain unaffected by anything in this world? The wax coating is our sadhana. When you do a sadhana very well, then we may have to take a role of a leader, giving services out, but we still remain very humble because our sadhana is protecting us.
So, Prabhu, how can students and professionals build a strong spiritual human system to resist digital distraction, to stay focused on their goals or their jobs?
Yeah. So, for students, professionals, how do you stay focused? Boils back to the same thing. Our ABCD, association, books, chanting, diet is what it is basically, right? If you are in wrong association, naturally you're going to lose your focus very fast, especially for a student. If someone is going to college and if he gets into wrong association, definitely he's going to do very bad in his exams because he's lost his focus. Once you get into a bad habit, they say bad habit is like a cozy chair. It's like a soft bed. You can get in easily, but you can't get out that easily. So once you get into a wrong habit, and wrong habit comes with wrong association, then it becomes very difficult, and children just lose their career, they lose marks, they fail in the exams, everything happens because of wrong association. But simultaneously, when you come in association of devotees, we have seen so many students after coming in association of devotees, they do much better in their exams because the distractions have reduced so much. There is no distraction at all. Just chant Hare Krishna, do your sadhana, and just go and keep studying. So your efficiency for a student in his studies, for a professional in his job, increases a lot by coming in spiritual life. So spiritual life not only helps one attain Krishna, which is the ultimate goal, but spiritual life also helps us become very efficient in this world.
Yes.
Efficient in career, efficient in gaining promotions, everything, because you're cutting distractions a lot. All those things that waste your time is all cut off from your life. So I think even in that way, it's a win-win situation.
So how to judge that there is a good association and here is a bad association? Because a student cannot have this much of knowledge that judging that this is a nice good association, I have to associate this one. Which association they can judge? What is good association or bad?
Ideally, when we say good association, we mean association of devotees, ideally.
Yes.
We call this in Sanskrit satsang. Sat means eternal. That association that connects us to that eternal truth is called good association. So ideally, that's the principle. So it's very simple in that way. Someone who's practicing spiritual life, someone who's Krishna conscious, living life according to Gita, Bhagavad, try to be within their association. And rest all you can put in the category of bad association, stay away from them. But many times as students, it may not be that easy to, like some student might be going to a class,
yes,
and he may not have a devotee in his class. So now the question is, shouldn't he associate with anyone? Okay, you may have to associate, you may have to make some few friends, but at least choose your friends who don't have too many bad habits. At least they are, you can say, at least they are more in the mode of goodness. They may not be pure goodness, which is Krishna consciousness, but at least if they are in the mode of goodness, they don't have smoking, drinking, and all these habits, then at least they are still better. Stay in their association.
Yes.
And for students, I would say, good association for a student means at least students who are studious. If you associate with students who are completely not interested in studies, then your life is gone. So at least associate with students who are a little more studious. So at least in that phase of your student life, you will get good marks at least.
So last round. So this round will be a rapid fire question for 6 questions.
Okay.
So I will say one word and you have to describe 2 to 3 lines in it.
2 to 3 lines.
Okay.
Okay.
So first word is bhakti.
Bhakti, I would say, as Srila Prabhupada would translate, devotional service. Devotion to Krishna, but devotion just not in your heart, it translates into actions also in the form of spiritual life.
Second word is good association or bad association.
Good association means association with devotees who are trying to serve Krishna, and rest all I would consider to be bad association. Anyone who takes us away from Krishna, anything that takes us away from Krishna is bad association.
Krishna consciousness.
Krishna consciousness means your mind, heart, everything connected to Krishna. Your mindset, heart set, soul set, everything in connection with Krishna. That's Krishna conscious.
Skon.
ISKCON is a transcendental oasis. Just like someone who's in a desert is looking for that body of water. So this material world is like a desert, samsara dhava. And the only oasis where you can find that refuge, that shelter is ISKCON.
Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada is the one who saved all of us, the savior of the world.
Thank you, Prabhu, for coming in this podcast. Please bless us to do this Krishna consciousness sincerely and having faith in this ISKCON society.
Yes, very happy to be here. Very happy to see our young Nitai. Children like this are the future of our movement. So if children take up to the process of Krishna consciousness, which is what Srila Prabhupada wanted, the future of this society, future of the world will be very, very bright. So my best wishes to you, Nitai, for this podcast and for your spiritual life and for your life in general also. We all pray that you can become very successful, in your career, in your spiritual life, and make your parents and all devotees very, very proud.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.